We are in Dubrovnik. As you can see, we are now by the ocean. I hope you can hear me against all the waves. But we are going to head into the old town now, find some coffee and maybe breakfast, and then go to the farmer's market. So let's get going. Walking from our apartment to the old town of Dubrovnik, we found a beautiful cove with a lovely view of the sea. There was a man there working on his boat, sanding and hammering, but he paused to say good morning and wish us a good day. From here we had our first close-up view of the city wall. Tall, strong, and sure. It was truly breathtaking. The history of wars and culture that had been witnessed by these walls, I couldn't begin to fathom it. At Pile Gate we were surrounded by bright orange trees, and the heavy scent from their blossoms filled the air. We walked over the drawbridge and into the fortress. We were lucky to be here early and in the off-season, so we were nearly alone. Our footsteps echoing on the ancient cobblestones, we wandered until we found a spot for breakfast. We sat at Café Salé in front of the bell tower and had our first experience with the huge portions of typical Croatian food. I had eggs, grilled veggies, and cured salmon, while Clara settled for forest berry French toast. It was all delicious, and the cappuccinos were particularly good. I highly recommend stopping by if you're ever in Dubrovnik. Full and happy, we wandered down a narrow alley to the market square. It was a small market, but this was made up for in gorgeous produce, friendly smiles, and vast knowledge. We had an incredible time speaking to all the producers, learning about their farms and orchards, about their lives outside of the city. One woman in particular spoke very good English and told us stories of her olive groves, orange trees, and lavender fields. She makes her own marmalades, honey, olive oil, soap, body oils, and pretty much anything else you could think of. She was beyond kind, and if you ever see her at the market, please tell her I say hello. After the farmer's market, we still had some walking to do to work off our huge breakfast, so we wandered to the other side of the walls where the marina was and watched the fishermen stringing their nets and getting ready to go out for the afternoon. From the market, we bought squash blossoms, strawberries, olive oil, rose liqueur, orange marmalade, wild asparagus, and fresh sheep's milk cheese. I decided to make a simple topping for the fresh cheese as it wasn't very strong in flavor but had a wonderful texture. I started by chopping the wild asparagus into 1-inch pieces, discarding any pieces that were too thin as they would not cook well. Next, I removed the pollen sacs from the squash blossoms and chopped the stems. I then cleaned them with water and patted dry. Next, we are going to heat 2 tablespoons of olive oil in a pan and heat over medium. Add in the asparagus, stir, and cover with the lid to steam while you cook. Cook until the asparagus is tender, then add in your squash blossoms. Sauté for a few minutes until wilted and add a pinch of salt and pepper. If using a saltier cheese such as feta or brie, which are great options, don't add salt to your topping. Remove from heat and set aside. I then realized I didn't have anything to eat with the cheese, so I ran up the street to a market for some bread. Once I had my bread, I headed home. Simply place the cooked topping over your round of cheese, cut your fresh bread into slices, and serve. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you get the chance to try this wonderful fresh cheese recipe with squash blossoms and wild asparagus. It was so yummy and so simple to make. I had such a blast at the Dubrovnik farmers market. Everyone was so kind. The produce was so beautiful. I couldn't get quite as much as I wanted since we weren't staying all that long in our apartment in Dubrovnik. You don't want to be carrying around large things of vegetables from city to city, so I had to hold myself back. But got some amazing things and it all turned out so well. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. I love growing this little family. I love talking to you guys. So if you leave a comment, I'll make sure to reply. You can follow me on Instagram. I'll have that linked below. And I'll also have the full recipe written out on my food blog, Feasting Season, which I will also have linked below. Thank you so much for your support. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day.